my best friend's wedding, a girl lunged forward and caught the bouquet final part. I'm the CEO of the writer group. A wedding can't be thrown together so hastily. Don't rush. I promise you, it will be the most perfect wedding. Bitterness surged quietly in my chest. Every time a conflict arose, he would make promises about next time, about that future wedding. 8 years had passed, and I was still waiting for the day that promise would come true. But now, I had decided to go home. I wouldn't wait any longer. The car moved silently through the night before stopping in front of my villa. Mason unfastened his seatbelt, apparently assuming the tension between us had already passed. Out of habit, he leaned toward me, trying to kiss me. I raised my hand and pressed it lightly against his shoulder. I'm tired, Mason. He froze and stared into my eyes for a few seconds. Finally, he patted my shoulder gently. Being a bridesmaid is tiring. Get some rest. Natalie said she couldn't get a taxi and is still at the venue. I'll go back and pick her up. It wouldn't be safe to leave her there alone. I nodded calmly, but Mason didn't move right away. He seemed to be waiting for me to respond the way I usually did, telling him to drive safely, or complaining that he was leaving me home alone so late at night. But instead, I simply opened the car door and stepped out. Watching the car drive away into the distance, I wiped the tears that stung my eyes and dialed my parents in Montalvia. Mom, Dad, I agree to fulfill the marriage arrangement and marry Devin Ryder. When my parents learned that I was pregnant, they were overjoyed. They said the child was a descendant of the royal family. They would never allow him to carry the stigma of being an illegitimate child. He would be given the best future possible. They also told me that Devin had already prepared several wedding plans for me to choose from. I booked a flight for 3 days later. After returning to the villa, I began clearing out the bedroom drawers, years of keepsakes I had carefully saved, the love letters Mason had written to me and the photos we had taken together. By the time I finished packing my luggage, Mason came home. You're still up this late? His gaze swept over the messy closet and the suitcase beside it. His tone was relaxed. Why are you suddenly sorting through clothes and organizing the closet? Going on a trip? I didn't answer his question. Instead, I asked calmly, did you take Natalie home? Yeah. Her apartment's pretty remote. It really is hard to get a taxi there. Oh. I lowered my head and turned to leave. The next second, Mason wrapped his arms around me from behind. The rose perfume clinging to him made me feel slightly nauseous. It was Natalie's scent. Instinctively, I pushed him away. His body stiffened. He looked at me for 2 seconds, then let out a laugh. You're still mad about the bouquet? Don't be so petty. He stood up, loosening his tie, his tone helpless, like he was coaxing a child. All right, I'll order you a bigger bouquet tomorrow. Let's wash up and get some sleep. I've got a meeting in the morning. With that, he headed toward the bathroom. I watched his back and said softly, I promised my parents I'd return to Montalvia to get married in a week. Mason's hand froze on the bathroom doorknob. When he turned back, his patience had clearly run out. His brows knit together in irritation.